I don't know if she'll be able to see this podcast, but if she does, Kylie, I'm free. I would like to get coffee. I don't know.
Isn't she still with Travis Scott?
Yeah.
No.
No.
Are they back together?
They just have a kid together.
Oh, okay.
They just have a kid.
I don't know.
I don't mind kids. I actually love kids.
I love kids. I will father that child with everything I have.
Cool trying to get husband up. Dude,
if this isn't the clip at the beginning. My name's Evan. This is my co-host Cole.
What's popping off?
I feel like I could be a Disney prince.
Cole just solved global warming right now.
Juice WRLD recently released a song, and he actually has passed away. I think Taylor Swift's overrated.
The #1 podcast on Mars.
Evan,
Yes.
you ever seen Justice League?
Yeah.
I want it to be just us, please.
That's staying. That's staying.
That was
smooth.
They don't work.
My heart's
don't
beating
work.
quick right now, dude.
Pickup lines don't work.
When you
Pickup
said-
lines do work.
When you said I want it to just be you and me,
Just us, please. Like,
Just-
did it?
Pickup lines work if you're already attractive.
All right, I don't know what that meant, Tori.
that feels like I got
No,
Anyway,
I'm just saying,
bro.
Layton said
beauty.
pickup lines don't work.
Beauty's in the eyes of the beholder, so it depends who it is.
You know what? And
You
on
can't
that
make a
note,
blanket
Good
statement.
morning, everybody. This is Run the Culture podcast, the #1
good
podcast.
morning,
on Mars.
everybody.
I don't know why Tori decided to roast me within the
Yeah.
opening, but
Roasting you.
we might as well welcome
But-
our guest. Welcome Tori and
Tori and
Layton.
Layton, thank you
Yeah.
guys for coming on.
Good morning.
so
Yeah, thank
much.
you. For the
So
parking.
I've been hearing through the grapevine that the worst superhero movie ever made, Justice League, is
just us, please.
is getting a new edit
Yep.
from the director.
Yeah.
Correct.
Tori, you are an expert, a subject matter expert on this.
Oh, gosh.
We talked about this the other day, and you kind of got me excited about the movie.
So there's a lot of history. There's many YouTube videos about what happened with the original Justice League. Also, Aquaman was worse. Venom was worse. Green Lantern was really bad. Justice League,
Green
I
Lantern
don't
was bad.
think...
Wonder Woman 84 was pretty bad.
84 was
I heard
really
about that.
bad.
84 was
Like,
pretty
The
bad.
first Wonder
1984?
Woman
No.
was solid.
Spider-Man 3 was also
With Tobey
Pretty
Maguire
bad.
dancing.
No, Spider-Man
That-
3 was good when he was on the thing and he was getting killed and his hand was up and
No.
then he was going
I
sledgehammer
don't. It was
on him.
bad, dude.
The
It was
only
bad.
bad part is the cringe dance scene.
That part is really bad. But
The-
the Zack Snyder release of Justice League is coming out. It's 4 hours long. It's exclusively being released on HBO Max. And there's like a bunch of different things that have changed from the Justice League that we've seen.
I don't understand why would they think somebody would be able to sit down for 4 hours
I
and
1000%
pay
will.
attention to
for 4 hours straight.
4
Yep.
hours.
There's not a shot.
Yep.
I don't think I can do it.
I cannot. My attention is not good enough to be sitting down for 4 hours
4
straight to
hours.
watch it. And it can be amazing movie. I need a
Yeah.
like even when I'm binging something on Netflix, I need
That's
a
a good
break.
point. I can't sit and watch 4 hours on Netflix.
No, I
What have
need
you
a
watched
break.
for 4 hours?
What have I watched? That's 4 episodes of
Yeah.
an actual
True.
show, like an
True.
hour-long show.
Okay,
Queen's
there's a
Gambit.
difference between intentionally watching something and
Yeah.
then like white noise watching something. Are you intentionally
That's intentionally watching.
watching for 4 hours?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Okay,
I've done that.
Are you
Yeah.
I feel like I would rather watch 4 hours of a TV show than a movie.
Yeah, I do think the ends, the natural stops, and be like, oh, no way.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice. I think 4 hours back to back, no content break, like just going that feels
Yeah.
impossible.
I
but-
definitely think it'll be interesting. I'm assuming there will be like 2 to 3 major like epic fight scenes that will feel like, I know they'll start with one because that's basically how they started last time.
Yeah.
I think the apocalyptic time period will take up a good chunk, but I plan on watching it.
Dang.
So
I don't. It's just
I
like
want to see it.
I'm excited to watch it. I just know, growing up, my attention span is not that great. Like when I was going through school, I have a vivid memory. When I was in 2nd grade, my teacher called my mom and was like, "I think your son has ADHD." And I remember my mom got so offended on the phone because I wasn't supposed to hear this conversation. My mom still doesn't know I heard this conversation. And she was like, "My son does
Wow.
not have ADHD," hangs up the phone and just was like so angry about it. But I'm
Yeah.
like, I mean, if I did have ADHD, which I probably did, that wasn't an issue, but it's hard to pay attention. I'm sitting in a classroom for 45 minutes. I'm definitely not about to sit down and watch a movie.
Wait, so you had, let's go back to that. You had ADHD, undiagnosed, like, You didn't go any further past someone saying we think your son has ADHD from a teacher.
Yeah.
That was it. You didn't get like.
So you
Can you
still
do tests and stuff like that? How's
For
it,
sure.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of children who have been diagnosed by their teachers who were like, you may have ADHD.
But it was just kind of a troublemaker, or like just wasn't paying attention.
I think it was I
Mm-hmm.
was reaching for attention, and I mean, what second grader is paying attention in class?
Me.
Yeah.
Okay, Tori.
Yeah.
I feel
You're
like-
just
I
a
feel
I
like
mean, I
different-
do
there's
feel
a
like I was
lot.
a pretty good.
I like
good-
wanted to be the line leader every single time. I was the
I feel like
archetype
there's a
of a teacher's
lot of
pet.
people that have ADHD though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or
don't we
ADD.
all?
Or
though?
ADD.
Like
Yeah,
all
I
of
feel
us
like-
kind of do in a way.
I feel like especially with like kind of that like TikTok mentality
Yeah.
of like, oh, I'm bored of this, I'm bored of this, I'm bored of this, and just like
For sure.
I feel like everything that we consume now is so like quick and like such a like quick hit.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't feel like I feel like it's tough to really lock into something. Like kind of back to that. How do you watch something for 4 hours? I don't feel like I feel like the movie industry also is moving to this like TV show format.
Yeah, they're trying
Yeah.
to fight. They're trying to fight that. Like, I think it's sad that that's how we've gotten. Which I understand. Like, it makes sense if we've been, addicted to technology for so long. Even
Yeah.
it doesn't even take that long to get addicted to technology.
Yeah.
But like the movie industry is trying to fight that. Like, fight Cole, who's can't sit for 4 hours. 4 hours is really long. To be
Yeah.
fair, like
Sure,
I think
yeah.
it's long for anybody. But even like I know people who are like 2.5 hours in. They're
Yeah.
and 30 minutes in, they're looking at their phone, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. It's almost an instinct for me.
Yeah.
Like my girlfriend's called me out on that too, where I'll be watching a show and I'm like, I'll pull my phone out and I'm like, oh my, did I just get bored? Like,
yeah.
I feel like it's a weird thing. Like
Well-
I feel like my brain
It's because you're looking for a dopamine hit.
exactly. And
So
I
you're
can like
looking for the gratification that comes from a notification or the attention that you can get on your phone,
Yeah.
which hits like a drug. Like
yeah.
we are addicted to the dopamine hits that we get from notifications,
Yeah.
which like pulls us in over and over and over again to just keep checking our phone.
But I don't even have notifications, and I still be checking my phone.
That's
Like,
actually maybe worse.
I've turned
I feel
most
like it's
of my
worse.
notifications off.
Yeah.
I keep checking
It's
to
like
see if I got one. Right?
I feel like it's almost like a synthetic ADD like that we have now.
Well, isn't this? I mean, this is like the main like half of the main premise of Social Dilemma. Like just technology exploiting things that will like as
Yeah.
simple as the notification or as simple as the
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
every little
Yeah.
thing is like built
Yeah.
to like
Yeah,
What
it's
is it?
way more intentional and designed.
yeah, like it's
than just-
designed to exploit us that
Yeah.
we're that way.
That's a crazy thought.
Like why that's the whole thing. It's really shocking about Social Dilemma is like
Yeah.
if this is proven to be so bad for us, then why isn't anyone trying to stop it? Because they're
Yeah.
making money. That's why they won't
Well,
stop.
and
Yeah.
the ones that started it have all left for the
Yeah.
most part because they feel bad for what they created. But like the guy who created the like button just wanted to create interaction and had no idea that it was going to turn into what it turned into.
It's become like it's become a metric for value. And that was it was to like show gratification, and
Yep.
now it's like, oh, I'm not as important as someone else.
I think it's so cool. You said everyone who who's noticed and could help has left.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it reminds me of Pastor's like staying power sermon. Like how important it is to, even when it gets difficult or when it's something like, well, there's a reason that you're called out to like notice that there's something wrong. Like
Yeah.
stay what you're doing, and like you can do something about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leaving probably just made it worse.
Yeah.
Like it's made it way worse.
Yeah.
I feel like that's something that our nation and even like back to the movie industry is so bad at doing. Nobody really values staying anymore. I think we're in a constant mind of let's change, let's
Turnover.
change, let's change.
Let me
let's
Turnover is
change,
just
let's-
Yeah.
natural. It's just
It'll be
change.
like,
Yeah.
oh,
That's true.
Grey's Anatomy, 18 seasons, let's end it. And then 3 years from now, there'll be another
Yeah.
show called
Well, what-
Brown Scientific. It'll like right now, we'll just.
Her
they're
name was
constant-
Gray. It was Dr.
I know who Meredith. I know who Meredith.
No, Cole is a big Grey's
Do not
Anatomy
try
fan.
me on this. I know who Meredith Grey is.
Cole and I have actually
Meredith,
talked about Grey's Anatomy
like,
episodes before.
I love Grey's Anatomy. I watched the whole thing during COVID.
Yeah. Oh,
but
wow. That feels a lot.
And I feel like leaving is like glorified.
Yes.
We just saw on Oprah the Prince Harry and Meghan
Mhm.
did this whole thing with I think it was like 2
It was like an hour and
2 million
40
views or something.
No,
I forget what the number is.
Wait, it was
Way more.
It was 17 million views in the U.S. and 11 million views in the U.K.
Yeah, so we're talking.
And then there's
20,
way more people who have viewed.
20.
Like that was live viewers.
All about her leaving and the injustice that she's experienced, which there may be some truth to that, and maybe I don't know. It's just like an interesting thing of like what's glorified is leaving instead of like trying to exploit that and say no, we're sticking in this to fight it.
Yeah,
But
being
I
more
do think-
vocal I think more vocal in the position that they had before would probably have been way bigger than what they've done now, which I still applaud them for, stepping up and taking the courage to say something, regardless. It did feel a bit dramatized to me, which is like, 17 million, 11 million, all of us sitting here watching the Royals talk about something. I'm like, there was definitely a moment where I was like, wow, we are down the rabbit hole. We're all sitting here like addicted with popcorn watching like the Royals talk about, we decided to leave because, and I'm like, wow, man, that's crazy. Even regardless of the obvious racial issues that are still alive, I was still like, this is our entertainment.
And that's why I think there's something wrong happening in Buckingham Palace, because you look like, I was watching these hour-long documentaries on Princess Diana, and there's traces of like her writing notes saying, if I die in a car accident, something is linked to my husband. I was watching, and they got married she was like 19 and he was like 30.
So she was 13 when they met. There's a lot of stuff that goes into like the nuances of the monarchy. I think that like Diana is idolized because she's dead. She was not received the way that she is now received. I think the same could be said about Meghan Markle. I think that if Meghan Markle died, people would feel very differently about her. But like their marriage, Diana and Charles's marriage, was terrible. He cheated on her the whole time. She cheated on him. They knew, everyone knew. Diana tried to get out. So that's almost where for me, I'm like, well, what do you do when it's not healthy for you anymore and you need to get out? Do you feel the weight and the guilt of like, well, maybe I could try and change something if I stay? But if you feel like you've done everything you can do, I don't blame Meghan Markle if she really felt like she was on the verge of suicide to be like, no, I gotta go. Like, and I commend Harry for prioritizing his like we talk about covenant marriage. So like if his wife is the person, like I leave my father and my mother and I cleave to my bride, then he should leave. Like he shouldn't prioritize the monarchy over that. Like I really believe that he did the right thing standing by his wife who was like, look, I can't do this anymore. But I do think we're seeing an edit.
Right.
We're seeing an interview with questions that are designed to lead us to believe to one thing. I believe that most of what Meghan was saying is true. It's her experience. We can't argue her experience.
That. Right.
But I think, and even after, the way that the British tabloids talked about her is indicative of the treatment that she got and the like inherent racism that she felt.
Yep.
And so I think that like I could play devil's advocate for both sides of that interview. I think that ultimately Layton brought up a really great point that like, what does it say about us as a culture that's willing to feed the drama about something, pay money, buy into it, gossip about it for days after, instead of just being like, good for her for sharing her story.
Yeah.
And like
on to the next thing. On to the next thing.
And that being it.
It's designed for us to pick sides, really.
I think the satisfaction from this is way deeper than any satisfaction from a TV show because we know that it's real. And we know that it's real. We don't know that it's real, but it's like, oh, this is a real woman. This is a real family. You watch a TV show, you're like, this is cool. It's not a real family.
Well,
it's not a real story.
And we're Meghan Markle. We are the commoner.
Oh, yeah.
So there is a relatability that we have to Meghan that a lot of people felt to Diana when she was alive that I think really allows her to be the hero of the story, where it's like she's a commoner that married a prince, and that's a crazy thing for
She was an actress, though, right?
Yeah.
She's still making more money than me, so.
For sure, definitely.
If she's a commoner, then I'm down there, dude.
But here's what's really sad to me is because she's an actress, everyone says she's an actress. She knew what to say in that interview. She knew what sound bites were going to land.
She knew what
the and it's like, well, she didn't know when she was an actress that she was going to marry a prince.
Right. Yeah. Need to.
Well, there were, like, just to play devil's advocate, there were a couple things that she did say that I was like like she talked about how nobody taught her the national anthem, and I'm like, you got Google like the like rest like I don't necessarily get that point. And then she talked about how she had to curtsy to the queen, and she's like, well, this is our grandma. Like, why do we got it? I'm like, yeah, like the rest of the country curtsies to the queen.
Diana struggled with a lot of that too, though. I think that
it's history repeating itself.
It is interesting to know, like, I do think that it makes sense that once you're a part of the family, thinking that you get a little bit different of an experience.
Yeah.
But I do think what I really appreciated about her was that she, like, really didn't name names. She didn't like drag anyone through the mud. Even when she talked about her argument with Kate, she was like, I love her and I will stand by her and I'm for her. And so I don't think she really, from my perspective, did a really good job of just simply sharing her experience and not dragging anyone down on behalf of it.
I do think there was something, so you're right. Like, I don't think we can argue whether or not she was telling the truth or not. It's not really up for us to argue. I think just kind of her presentation for me did feel not scripted, but she felt like she knew what she was going to say with the confidence that she was going to say, and it didn't feel as raw to me.
Yeah.
But, which is, I feel like, it's the whole interview thing. I'm just like, this is an interview. We're sitting down, and we're with Oprah. We're just going on CBS, and this is how it is. And it's just like, and action. You know, and it just didn't feel like as raw as like I felt like a tell-all. Like, also, what is that? The market of a tell-all? Like, oh, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle tell-all. Like, what? Yeah, like, this feels so counterintuitive to what, like, the problem we're trying to solve.
Yeah.
And, like, I'm glad. I hope more people talk. It's obvious people are talking about it. The people are. Yeah. I don't live in the UK, so I don't know how. These people don't represent me. I do think as Prince Harry, you do have, like, an obligation to your country.
Yeah.
So, like, no offense, why are you in California? Like, you have an obligation to your country. And I know that she's like, well, I didn't choose to fall in love with the prince. I'm like, yeah, but, you know.
Well, she definitely, but Harry didn't choose to be a prince. So that's the one that I can argue more so than Meghan, where it's like you knew what you were stepping into.
Right.
You chose to marry a
100%.
prince. He did not choose to be married or be born into a royal family. So for him to not have a choice to be like, you know what, I want to do something different with my life. And if that means I get cut off by the crown, cool.
Yeah.
I honestly, like, applaud him. Because I think everybody fantasizes being a royal. Like, even me, I don't even know what it means to be royal, but I'm like, dang, if I could find Meghan's little sister or something, maybe I can get into the royal family, because I think it'd just be dope. But I'm like, he really gave that up. I mean, nobody really knows what it's like to live inside of the royal family, but from the outside, it looks cool, right? And he's like, I'm willing to stand by my wife because she's dealing with mental health. She does not feel included. She feels like this is something that she has to leave for her safety and our children's safety. I think that's a baller move.
And they're like actually in love, you know, like undeniably so. Like, they got married before the giant ceremony. They like chose to like say goodbye to all of that on behalf of their marriage and their family. And so that's really cool, because in a lot of those situations, they're like just staying married. They're cheating. They're like just doing the motions of being married, but they're not like for the sake of the government or the monarchy. And I don't even think that that's a British thing. I think that's like a position of influence thing where people just stay in something because it like looks better.
I think that's the appeal of the Kardashians too.
I have never watched a single episode.
All right, I can't lie.
It's that same like, oh, what would it be like to live in that family and to have just access to those resources? And so I feel like we have that in America too. It just isn't.
It looks
formalized.
Different.
Yeah.
Do you think like all right, be honest, because I'll be honest. If Kylie Jenner DMs you right now and is like, hey, trying to go get coffee,
am I getting coffee?
If you're not dating Mackenzie,
no. I am dating Mackenzie.
If you're not dating Mackenzie and Kylie's like, hey.
But he can't imagine that because he is dating Mackenzie.
You're single. If Kylie Jenner DMs you and is like, hey, trying to get coffee.
Wait, are you single?
I probably wouldn't.
Y'all are both lying.
I honestly probably wouldn't.
I'm paying for my own flight ticket in the coffee. I don't care.
This also is a little unrealistic. I don't see it it just wouldn't happen. It's just like one of those things. It's like, well, how do you even like? I don't know. I don't know what I would do.
I like that
sometimes God likes to do this surprise. God likes to have a surprise.
Surprise.
So you know what? If it happens, I don't know if she'll be able to see this podcast, But if she does, Kylie, I'm free. I would like to get coffee. I don't know.
Isn't she still with Travis Scott?
Yeah.
No.
No.
Are they
They
back
just-
together?
They just have a kid together.
Oh, okay.
They just have a
See,
kid.
I don't know.
I
yeah,
don't mind kids. I actually love kids. So I don't
Man.
I don't think it's an issue.
Hold on.
We're
Like,
this is
I love kids. I will father that
I
child with
will.
everything I have.
I
Cool
just-
trying to get husband up.
I
dude,
do.
Yo,
right
if
now.
this isn't the clip at the beginning,
I don't see.
this is the hook right here.
Do y'all see an issue? I don't see an issue.
No, if that's
No,
what you, if you
more
want,
power.
that's
Our
fine.
a youth pastor did the same thing. So
Yeah, shout out
more,
to Tim.
hey, more power.
Tim found his Kylie. I want to find mine. It's,
Rebecca, let us know what you think about that.
That's funny.
I
That's
thi-
good.
It's just I want to say it's a mindset thing, but it's just how I feel.
Yeah.
And it's cool that you can see so many different correlations, like how our equivalent of the royal family is kind of like the Kardashians in the US.
Yeah.
that's so sad to me personally.
Why?
Because it's just not the same. There's like a level of like class and history that comes with the royal family that like has been around for literal centuries, that like a family that's had 12 seasons, I don't know how long it was, but like a super long television show that like they were terrible to each other all the time.
Yeah.
Like that's our equivalent of like, this is the family that we look to.
So how
Yeah.
do you feel that we are talking? I'm equally as invested, or I have opinions at least. How do you feel that we have all these opinions about something that's not even, it's not our country? Like this has nothing to do with us really. Like in terms, I think it does in the grand scheme of like their influence
Yeah.
and like Meghan stepping out and saying stuff about mental health and about the racism. I think that's huge, right? That's
Yeah.
big. But us having opinions on the royal family
Right.
or on like, I know
I agree
like
with
one
that.
of probably the biggest Googled thing is like, what did the royal family do? That's in the past like 2 days.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that is the number one. Like,
I don't know.
Wait
Dunstan?
a minute. What do they do?
Yeah.
Are they just faces?
It is
No,
very.
they hold positions. A lot of them hold
It-
positions.
Yeah, they're like the head of the church or something.
Yeah.
in-
I was told that the queen is evil secretly.
I
Where were
don't
you?
think so.
I mean,
I
did you
saw-
read that?
I saw it unless
Wait,
somebody
she's not
live
the
streaming
Antichrist?
Fortnite one time.
What?
But I do think for me, it's
Yeah.
like history was my favorite subject.
Yeah,
There's a
100%.
fascination in
Yeah.
the like I do really enjoy The Crown from like a historical
Yeah.
perspective. And I watched the newest season about Diana with my mom, who was like younger when
Alive
all
during
of
the
that was
time.
happening.
Yeah,
So it was cool to watch it with her and her be like, oh, I remember that. And that did happen like that. And they talked about this like that. So that for me is the part of it that I'm like, but I don't look at like British tabloids. I don't
Right.
really know, short of like an experience like this.
or even
what's
like the
going
public
on.
opinion. I don't even know what the public opinion is.
I only know
over there.
because
I
a
didn't- like, I
girl
don't.
that I follow on Instagram, I found her on TikTok. Her name's Tinks. I'm obsessed with her. But she was raised in England. And so she lives in LA now, but she watched it and she talked about like from her perspective as an English person, she was like really proud of Meghan for bringing things to light that haven't been talked about.
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of, and I've seen a few other people who were from England say similar things, that like, man, the crown is this like ambiguous, we don't know what's going on, no one really talks about it. There's all these theories that they run the press, that they like
Yeah.
feed them everything. So I think that a lot of English people are like, oh cool, we can actually talk about this. We've all wondered for a long time. It would be like the president doing a tell-all about something scandalous.
100%. Yeah. Which
Yeah.
I mean that those things.
We've definitely watched
Yeah.
things similar to that. We watch
Absolutely.
a presidential debate, you
Mhm.
know, like, so I think that that's interesting.
Meghan Markle has been Googled 10 million plus times since Sunday.
Dang.
But you know what else has been Googled? The Fortnite song.
It does slap. I think people are forgetting that it is American Boy.
What's
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
The
See?
song, You'll Be
No,
My
I'm playing, I'm
American Boy.
How does the Fortnite song go again, Evan?
I know.
Okay.
Just
Tori, you gotta join in.
You know what
Tomato
that-
Town.
Tori,
Remind-
no, you have to
I'm
join
not
in.
singing.
Who mimics words like that? You mimic words different than like most people.
That
the way you
reminds
say
me
it.
of the fact that on TikTok right now, I'm seeing people do like Sims voices. They're
Oh,
like
yeah,
pretending to
I've been watching
they're
that.
pretending
I've been
to
watching
be
that
like
too.
Sims characters, and there's like these 4 different scripts that they have to
Yeah.
do, and I'm like, that is so weird.
Yeah.
I forgot about Sims.
I mean, I've always made fun of the way Sims talked, though.
Yeah, it's strange.
I honestly never played Sims.
I've never played Sims.
My parents wouldn't let me. I think you could do some like sketchy
You
things.
could.
Yeah,
You could do
for
sketchy
sure.
things. Yeah.
Yeah. I was on Miniclip. Remember that?
No.
No.
Mini clip.
I was
Or,
on Pop
Cool
Tropica.
Math Games.
Pop Tropica?
Club
Cool Math
Penguin?
Game-
Okay.
Oh, Club
Anybody?
Penguin.
Club Penguin. I
Yes.
got suspended for
I have
saying-
no idea
You
what
got
you're
saying
talking
bad words
about.
on
Oh, I
Club
bet you
Penguin. Dang.
Yeah, no, I feel like there are a lot of commonalities between Diana's story, the Meghan Markle or Merkel?
Markle.
It's definitely Markle.
Story. And I feel like there is this theme though of history repeating itself.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You see this with, and it's like nothing is really new. Like I feel like maybe it's in like a different context, but most of what we have seen throughout the human history is just like the same thing,
Yeah.
just with like a different skin.
Yeah.
And it's even true in movies.
Yeah, what were you saying about like the plot lines?
There are 7 different plot lines. Like really, there's in movies there's only 7 different storylines.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Let me find the
7 storylines. Yeah, were you gonna go find the TikTok?
Isn't
also,
that like
is that
a
liter-
Shakespeare thing?
Yeah, why
It
is
is
TikTok
that-
becoming a news source?
TikTok is becoming like, oh, I gotta find the TikTok for you.
TikTok University.
How come
Like,
we just
what is
believe
happening right now?
what a random person saying something for 60
And
seconds
then-
on TikTok and
Their
take it as fact?
sources,
Yeah.
bro, trust me.
You're right. That one hits different.
Did you hear that on the internet?
Yeah, 7 stories that like sell,
Yeah.
that work.
So here they
You know?
are. Here they are. Overcoming the Monster,
Yeah.
Rags to Riches, The
Rags to-
Quest,
The Quest.
Voyage and Return,
Voyage and
Comedy, Tragedy, and Rebirth. There is not a single story that does not fit in one of those bins.
Those are all pretty broad, though.
It
You
is
know,
like, those
broad.
are,
Yeah.
Let's make a
But-
new one.
What's your new one?
Let's do the 8th one, and it's going to be riches to rags.
Okay, flip it.
Flip
That's
it.
not in
It
there. I
ends
feel
in
like that's happened
despair.
before. That's like this. That feels like the plot of a lot of
Just-
movies.
No, just
That's tragedy, bro.
True.
okay.
True.
But I feel like we've the point I'm making is within the creative world, like we've kind of like what does it mean to be original?
Yeah.
Like there
Yeah.
is truly no originality. Like if we're trying to create something new, I don't know what even King Kong's coming out,
yeah.
and it's like, well, this
How
is
many
an
King
old
Kongs have we
story.
done?
Godzilla.
Yeah.
To be fair, there's only
Let's
been like
combine them.
there haven't been
and
that
then-
many King Kongs, especially like in the age that we have.
There's been like 4.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay,
CGI.
but CGI hits different, right? Like
Yeah.
the CGI was really bad in Peter Jackson's King Kong, and now
It
it's like, hey,
was.
that actually looks like maybe.
Is
But
that
I've been
the
trying to.
one from like 2006? Because that made me cry.
Yeah, with Jack Black and
Oh.
Naomi Watts.
I love
Uh-huh.
Jack Black. Love Jack Black.
That was good. It was a good one. I've been debunking that. I've been working on that in design right now. Right,
Oh.
like, has every design been made that's ever been made? Like,
But
is it? It's it. Like we've seen everything.
Yeah.
Have we seen everything?
I feel like the trying to create something new. I feel like the new is found in like combining old things, like pulling pieces from different movies, or like even King Kong is like bringing this idea from King Kong, bringing it from Godzilla, combine the two, and now it is this new thing.
Or is part of the new just like not is changing the outlook? I mean, like I don't care if it's like I just
Yeah.
don't look anymore. That's what I do. I don't analyze it as is this from something or is this
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean?
And
Like
that's where I think that it's interesting to me where like when people are like, "Oh, did you see what so and so is doing?" And like through the lens of like inspiration, but at what point does the inspiration turn into
Copying.
yeah.
Yeah,
and
like if you see somebody doing something and then
Yeah.
you're like, oh, let's do that same exact thing but change it a little bit. Like, let's say I have a bush and you make a bush as well, but just put one flower inside of the bush. That's copying, not inspiration.
That was a great example. That
You go that
that illustrated
your
our point
seriousness
completely.
on some of your things. You're like, that was really good example, Cole. Good job.
Thank you. That fully
Evan's
illuminated
my
that
greatest
concept.
supporter.
I know.
No, but
I'm
I do think that there is something to be said too, though, about nostalgia and how like we don't mind copying if it's something that's like nostalgic to us. We don't mind a remake.
But
if
why
it's
does nostalgia
nostalgic to
sell?
us.
Why does I still don't know this? I don't know if it's just us too. Is this just a generational thing? Is nostalgia almost just a generational thing? Because I feel like my parents aren't as nostalgic as I am.
No, my grandparents and my mother are so nostalgic. Like, if Punky, y'all know what Punky Brewster is?
Yeah, and they're doing a remake.
Yeah, so I
Punky.
was watching the old Punky Brewster with my
What is
mom
this?
because of it's a great TV show. Great TV show.
Punky Brewster.
It is the main
All right,
character.
you know what? Y'all watch WandaVision, right?
Yeah,
Y'all know the
I haven't
first
seen
two
it.
episodes are
I Love Lucy.
no, it's Bewitched.
Oh,
Oh yeah, yeah.
well, it's the Dick Van Dyke Show, and then
yeah,
it's Bewitched.
because technically she was watching that show and
yeah, that's what
in the
influenced
end
it.
on episode 8.
Well,
Yeah.
it felt like Bewitched to me, and it was very nostalgic. That's why I kept watching, and then I
Mhm.
got sad when it was like regular WandaVision. But I like stuff like that. The nostalgia. It's like
Yeah.
it's the equivalent of eating a warm cookie. That's what it feels like for your soul. That's what I think nostalgia is.
Are we
like.
addicted to nostalgia?
I think so. It's like a good feeling.
Yeah. So is
Well-
that just another dopamine hit
But
though? It
is
does
that-
feel like it because we get caught up in nostalgia, and then like it's the reason why original movies aren't selling. Like that's also the bigger thing is that like remakes fund all the original movies too. Like these big
Yeah.
remakes allow these directors to go off and make the tiny
Yeah.
original movie.
I do wonder too, though. Like, is nostalgia just us looking at the past with rose-colored glasses?
100%.
Like, are we just
Yeah.
forgetting the like pain or the trial or the whatever of that time and just taking? But also, isn't like, I wonder if that's in our nature to just take the good and try and remember the good, as opposed to
That's a good point. But is it then? Are we like, yeah, no, look at the bad? Like, is
Yeah,
is that what we really need to be doing though?
I don't know.
I don't.
Yeah,
I think
because
it's-
yeah.
I think it's
So
impossible.
is it a good thing or is it a bad thing?
Yeah,
I don't know. I love nostalgia. I love the things that built my childhood.
Yeah.
I want my children to be able to experience that stuff too. So I feel like there is like here's a good example, Sandlot, like an old movie.
Yeah.
I'm like something about that movie
Yeah.
of like growing up playing sports with your neighbors, like
Warm
that just
cookies.
like it brings me back into that moment.
Yeah.
Whereas I don't think you don't see that as much today. So I don't like there isn't that common understanding to be able to support that movie. I don't think today.
But I do wonder, in the vein of history repeating itself, does it keep repeating itself because we're only looking at the good and we're not pushing through to learn from the bad?
That's a good point.
Oh, true.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
enjoy like you ever look back and you're like, dang, that was a tough time, but I made it through. Now it's a good time.
I
like-
literally was this. It's about to be a year since
COVID.
that we went into
Yeah.
stay at home.
Yeah.
I was last week was like, man, I missed that. What?
The
I
heck?
was going through. Well, I miss
Yeah.
like waking up. I miss waking
That
up,
is crazy.
doing
Not
my
having
Zoom
to
meeting,
drive.
going
I-
get my coffee, and then sitting down and the sun coming through my
100%.
room and just like
I for real had that same
See, it's
nostalgia.
crazy how people can go through the same experience and have totally different views. Because I hated COVID.
yeah.
Every single day I woke up at 11. I hated my life.
You had
I
the pan, the
No,
quarant-
there was
You
like-
hated quarantine.
Yeah. No, that's the point though. I'm like, I remember. I'm like, I
I
have
was
like
dying.
a fond memory looking
Mhm.
back of like, it was like a. I don't remember.
What
It was that same thing
quarantine
of like
did y'all
coming
live?
downstairs, getting a coffee, and I'm
I
like,
had a
that's why that was my
4-month-old.
routine when I was in quarantine, and I was like, why am I like happy about like that point in my life when I was like, that was actually really tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it
I
also
truly
I
didn't
wouldn't.
like
I don't
that.
think I would really want to
But-
go back.
Yeah,
but I
the
am
memory
sitting
is
here
like, dang,
yeah.
that was kind of nice being
I
able
do-
to.
Mhm.
I do think that brings in the other phrase that we always say, well, that people always say, is that the grass is greener on the other side. So we idealize what we don't have.
Mm.
And we think like, oh yeah, it's great because I don't have to drive 30 minutes to the office and I get to wear sweatpants to work. And then like when you're in the thick of it, you're like, man, I just can't wait to
Yeah.
like be able to do whatever I want again and not have to, So I think that it's just, I think that as like as a, what's the word? I wanted to say people group, but I think humanity really struggles with contentment.
Yeah.
I think ultimately
Yeah.
that's what it boils down to.
We are such an interesting, tough to please people.
Yeah.
Well, that,
Like-
and we're also just, I think, obnoxiously addicted to feeling.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
whatever feeling it is, we just want to feel.
Yeah.
And I think that whether it's nostalgia or if it's drama through someone else's eyes, we're just
Yeah.
more.
Nothing's
Yeah.
enough.
And I think that a lot of that is what you just described is we're addicted to feeling the feelings other than what we're actually feeling.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
So like what you described is like perceived feeling where it's like, oh, I feel someone else's drama.
Mhm.
I feel nostalgic on behalf of something else so that I don't have to face what I'm currently feeling in my
Right,
day-to-day
right.
life, because to face that would have to require us to push through to get to a place of contentment.
Yeah.
Dang.
That's
Great.
good.
You know
Yeah.
what makes me feel? You know what I'm about to say.
The Fortnite song?
The Fortnite song.
It does slap. I think people are forgetting that it is American Boy.
What's
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
The
See?
song? You'll be
Nah,
my
I'm playing, I'm
American boy.
How does the Fortnite song go again, Evan?
Right now.
Okay.
Just
Tori, you gotta join in.
You know what
Tomato
that
Town.
Tori,
remind-
no, you have to
I'm
join
not
it.
singing.
Is nice.
Youth Nation.